Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for today's tag video. I can't remember the last time I did a tag video. Like, I feel like YouTube, like, we just don't do that anymore, but I love tag videos. And today we're doing the eyeshadow palette tag. And if you guys are new to my channel, I mainly do eyeshadow tutorials. I love eyeshadow. It's my favorite part of makeup. So when I saw this tag going around, I was like, I have to do it. I have so many eyeshadow palettes. If you guys are interested in this video, just keep watching. Let's start off. The first question is, show your newest palette. This is really easy for me because I have been really trying not to spend money on makeup, but I found this baby on sale at Sephora for $24, so I figured, why not? My cat likes to interrupt me when I'm filming. Graham, stop it. Shh. Thank you. Okay. I picked up the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette from Sephora's website. It was 24 bucks. I really couldn't pass it up. I have most of the Naked palettes except just a couple, like the Smoked, Reloaded, and then the new Ultraviolet. I've gotten a ton of questions if I'm going to be purchasing that. I don't know, guys. I love the Naked palettes. I love the quality. It's just, I don't know, I feel like I don't need the eyeshadow palettes. But anyway, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous palette. It's very berry toned, pinks, and a little bit of reds, purplies. It's honestly really pretty. I was really happy with it. I was happy that I bought it. I probably wouldn't have purchased it if it was full price, just because, do I really need this palette? And I'm gonna be talking about another palette that's like a super dupe and it's super cheap. So this is my newest palette. I know it's still old, but like I said, I'm not trying to spend a ton of money on makeup right now. Next question is, show your oldest palette. This was so hard for me because I really don't know what my oldest palette is, so I broke out several. First one, this might be the oldest one if I'm being honest, but I'm not sure. Guys, if you know, you know. This is the Too Faced Natural Eye, I don't know, eyeshadow palette. It says eye collection, but do you guys remember these? The cardboard boxes? Like, I hit pan on Velvet Revolver and Push Up. Heaven is almost, I almost hit pan on that. Oh my god, I use this palette so much and I loved it. I love this palette. It's like completely gone at the bottom. I miss these palettes so much. I wish Too Faced would like bring those back. I had almost all of them. The Boudoir Eyes, Natural at Night. Yeah, I have a ton of those, but this is one of my older palettes. And then, guys, the Wet n Wild Lust, and I have Lust in Greed. This was their 6-pan palettes, and I wanted Vanity so bad. They also had a blue one. I could not get my hands on Vanity. Like, I feel like they were getting rid of these palettes when I first started getting into them, but I have Lust and Greed here. I have tutorials, I think, with both of these. I loved these two palettes. Okay, the last ones I wanted to mention, I'm telling you, this brought back memories. Guys, the Maybelline Eye Studio quads, these definitely weren't my oldest ones, but I loved these. I have like 20 of them. Oh, these are two of my favorites. This is Legendary Lilac and Give Me Gold. Oh my god, love these. Next question is, show your most expensive palette. I don't really have like super expensive palettes, but the one that is the most expensive is the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette. My sister actually got this for me for Christmas maybe. It is really, really pretty. I love pink and purpley tones, and this is exactly what's in the palette. It has these really pretty pressed glitters that I don't really have, so I like having a palette with them. The shimmers are so pretty and the mattes blend out like a dream. I really, really like Huda Beauty's quality. Her palettes are expensive, for me at least. For me, they're a little bit expensive, and this is the only palette that I have of hers, but I really like it. And it has like every type of color for me. It has my light brow bone highlight, I have transition colors, I have shimmery shades for all over the lid, I have my crease colors. It's a great all-around palette, but of course if you don't like purple, you're probably not gonna like this, but I love purple. Show your most affordable palette. So that definitely has to go to these Wet n Wild Color Icon palettes. They're new ones. These are, I think, $5 each, and I love them. I just posted a tutorial with Comfort Zone. I love Rosé in the Air. This is one of my favorites too. And then VIP Purple. Ooh, love it. Nude Awakening is probably my least favorite, but I think I have tutorials with all 4 of these palettes, so I will link them below if you guys are interested. Show your everyday palette. Guys, this has to go to my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I love this baby. He's, you know, in rough shape. He's very old, but I love this palette because it has my favorite all over the lid color. It's Luscious, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes I get, oh no, Marzipan. You see what I mean? I'm getting confused with the Peach palette, which I'm going to talk about too in this video. But this is like the perfect shimmery color for all over the lid. I love it. I almost hit pan. This palette has my like favorite transition colors, this guy right here and this one, which I've hit pan on. It has my brow bone highlight that I love, a light matte cream, and then it has a ton of crease colors. Perfect every single day palette. I take it with me traveling, which is why it's so busted, but I love it, and I hope Too Faced never gets rid of it. Please, 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 please. Next is show your most colorful palette. This is where I'm kind of lacking. I really don't have like super crazy colorful palettes. The only one that kind of came close was the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe, the first one that she came out with, right? This is the first one. This is probably the most colorful palette that I have. It has these bright teals, the purples, the blues, and then of course your neutrals. I do use this every now and then. I have so much makeup, guys. But I do use this. You can do an everyday look with this. You can do a smoky, crazy look too. I have tutorials with this palette. I really like it, and the quality is good. It's a little crazy. It's so good. Smallest palette, the Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette. Also given to me by my sister. So this is also a very well-loved palette. I love it. The only thing that it's missing for me is a light brow bone shade. As you guys can tell, I'm very into those. Like, that's very important to me. A light cream right underneath the brow. I just gotta have it. But I mean, I can use like my pressed powder. I can just use a different palette. But this is a really good everyday palette. You have a transition color, a crease color, and then boom, and all over the lid color. If you want to be a little fancy, you got a cranberry and you got like a bronzy gold. Great palette, I love it. Next up, show your biggest palette. So my biggest palettes are my Morphe palettes, the Jaclyn Hill, which I mentioned earlier, and then the Morphe 35V. I also have the 35O, the one that was super popular, and then I have another Morphe palette. But this is what it looks like. This actually might be my most colorful palette. I don't know. They're both pretty colorful, but I have this one too. I don't have a lot of big palettes like this, guys. I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of a waste because, I don't know, I prefer the Too Faced palettes and the Urban Decay palettes, you know what I mean? Show your palette with the best memory. That has to go to the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. I posted an eyeshadow tutorial a long time ago. I think I named it my everyday daytime eyeshadow tutorial, maybe. I will link it up here. Guys, don't judge. It was a long time ago. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I'm very inconsistent, but I have been on YouTube for a long time. But yeah, it has to go to the Naked 2 palette. That was my first video that reached over a million views, and that's just crazy. You know, I've been on YouTube for so long, and that's the video over a million views. Like, a lot of people don't even get a video over a million views. So it just means a lot to me. You know, to be honest, I don't use this palette a lot, ever. If I want to go for a cool tone look, I'll use it, but really I really don't use it that much. But it's just crazy to think that this is the palette that got me over a million views. It's just, you know, I will never ever throw this palette out. It's just super special to me. So Urban Decay Naked 2. Show a palette worth the hype. Okay, Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. This palette deserves all the hype. Every single bit of it, because it is just a great palette. It's a great everyday palette. I hit pan on my transition color, Golden Ochre. It has these two transition colors as well, Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange. Great crease. Great crease colors. These two shimmery colors aren't my favorite, but Primavera works very nice on, you know, it's not my favorite, but it does work well on my lid. And it just has like a really nice crease colors. It has a good color scheme, really pretty. These shades in this palette blend out beautifully. I love the way they work. They remind me of Too Faced eyeshadows and Urban Decay eyeshadows. Honestly, it's a great everyday palette. I love it. I still use it to this day. Now, the next category is show a palette not worth the hype. Ugh, this actually, was this my most recent palette? I'm not even sure. But anyway, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam. I asked on my Instagram what palette I should get. Like, I think I'm gonna buy a palette. A lot of people said Anastasia Soft Glam. I feel like this got a lot of hype too. I hate this palette, guys. It's beautiful. You look at it and you're like, damn, that's a really nice palette. Nice, like a little everyday, a little crazy too. You can, you know, do a nice nighttime look with this. Guys, this palette was so hard to work with. I mentioned it in my tutorial. I have a tutorial, I did it recently. I just these shades couldn't blend out. The shimmery colors were fine. I actually think the quality of the shimmers, they're better in this palette than the Modern Renaissance, honestly. But the mattes, guys, you could see every single wrinkle that I have on my lids, in my crease. This palette just sucks. I'm so sorry. Anastasia, I know you're not watching, but what happened? What happened? I think the Subculture palette, I think the Subculture palette works a little bit better than the Soft Glam, in my opinion. I have on the Subculture today, by the way. Show your favorite palette from a favorite brand. It's the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Too Faced is one of my favorite brands, guys. I have to say, I love a lot of their products. I love their concealer, I love their blushes, I love their eyeshadow palettes. So I just really like Too Faced, and this is just one of my favorite palettes ever. I still do tutorials with this. I will, like I said, I'll leave all my tutorials down below. It smells so good. I like the smell. I just think this is a beautiful palette, honestly. Like, you cannot go wrong with the peach palette. I love it. And I love the Too Faced packaging too. I love them. Show your most used palette. So this is kind of hard for me because I feel like it's the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, but also I use the Too Faced Natural Matte palette all the time. When certain eyeshadow palettes don't have my brow bone color or like a good transition color or even a good crease color, like I'll use this for underneath my eyebrow, I'll use this as my transition color, like this I'm like about to hit pan. I'll use this as a transition as well. This palette is great to accompany other like shimmery palettes, you know, and I use this a lot. Like, even if it's just to use the brow bone color, I will use it, or even if it's just for the transition, I use it. This I have in my desk. My desk makeup is like my everyday makeup, you know, that I need handy, and this is in there. So Emily Noel added in 2 extra questions. I am going to do one of them. Show your best dupe palette. I wanted to incorporate these Rimmel palettes because I really do love them. They were just a little bit more expensive than the Wet n Wild palettes. I was gonna try and say these as the most affordable ones, but these palettes, the Magnif'eyes, they have, this one is the Crimson Edition, this is the Spice Edition. So, the Spice Edition is literally a dupe for the Naked Heat palette. They are so similar. Like, look at these 2 shades, look at these 2. Obviously, they're not like perfect, but they're so similar that if you can afford, like if you can afford the Naked Heat or whatever the case may be, try the Rimmel Crimson Edition. I love this palette so much. I have a tutorial on it. Also have the Rimmel Crimson Edition, which I've come to realize very similar to the Naked Cherry palette. Not exact dupes, but very similar. So if you don't want to spend money on the Naked palettes, which I get you, boom, try these Rimmel palettes. They are really good quality. I really like them. I have to use them more, honestly. I really do. That wraps up this video. I hope I wasn't all over the place, but that's just how this channel works. I'm gonna end this video before I keep talking. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye. So I picked up the Urban Decay Naked, which is why it's so busted, which I came to find out. I've come to day 4. Hey guys, welcome back.